Hello everyone, I'm Skratch. Welcome to the channel. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Welcome everybody. Guess what? We have the get one free legendary from Ancient Shards. Now, not last week, the week before we had the 2x on Ancients. And I kind of like was getting close to the Mercy and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna use any of my gems on purchasing shards because most probably we're gonna have a 1+1 coming in soon. So I'm actually very glad that I've done that because I'm super close to the Mercy and we should be able to kind of like hit a legendary pretty quick. We're gonna get to build one of these legendaries. Now, if I already owe the legendary, we're gonna check the build that I already have on and I'm gonna go over the skills. We're gonna test a bit the champion out, kind of like see what he's capable of doing. Talking about Mercy, guys, if you wanna track the Mercy of your shards, pretty much every single one of them, if you play on PC, is this tool called RSL Helper. Is created by Farbstoff, another German content creator, and this is an amazing tool all around. But basically you have the shard tracker which shows you how close you are to the Mercy. Now let's just say you don't have it open today, for example. You can go and adjust the amount of shards that you open. So if you had 5 before, you open 2 without having the app on, you're going to be able to go and manually adjust it so you know exactly where you are all the time. I'm going to leave the link to download the tool in the description down below. You can get it from aftershockunited.gg. So if you go right here to articles, you're going to be able to find it. You're just going to have to scroll a bit down, but I'm going to put the link for you guys in the description down below. And I have 22 shards at the moment. I know, not a lot, but how you've seen, my Mercy is actually at 156. So I should be getting it in the next 60 shards or so if it doesn't really take me all the way to 220 shards, which hopefully doesn't. Plus, I'm pretty convinced I already opened some Ancients that I forgot to manually input in there when the app was down or I was either on a different device or something. Before we move over to talk about all this and open the shards, guys, if you enjoyed the music you hear in the video, I just want to let you know I partner up with Soundstripe. They have an amazing music library. So if you're a content creator, a music enthusiast, definitely head over and check them out. The link will be in the description down below or in the pinned comment. Plus, I can save you 20% on checkout by using code SCRATCH. Now, I've seen this guy just pull the Corvus the Corruptor in there. Let's head over to chat 888. And hopefully we're gonna have some luck. YOLO, baby. Bring it in. And oh, seems like I got my live arena refills that I supposed to get last week together with the rest of the guys. But for some reason, it was bugged for a lot of us guys. And we haven't managed to collect them. Now, keep in mind, if you click to collect them right now, they're gonna expire in 24 hours, okay? So you wanna make sure if you haven't done your dailies yet, you don't have time to play it today, you still have 4 days to collect it. So don't jump on it because they're gonna expire pretty quick, similar with the tag team arena ones. So let's head over to our shards. Man, I would love a Rotos, a Harima, a Duchess, a Kaimar, and like that's kind of like where it stops in terms of non-void legendaries. Yes, I would love to get a Kelvalex, even though he's not that amazing anymore in the current hard mode dungeons and stuff. I would still like to have one because I don't have him. You know how it goes. So there we go. We can go all the way to 10 pops now. And let's bring something juicy home. Let's bring something juicy that we can use for live arena. That would be amazing, right? That would be amazing. And by the way, I will be doing some sort of tier list guides for DPS champions, for support champions, for teams, for live arena. I just didn't have a chance yet. You know how it is. Still getting on with the baby and stuff. Lockwayne, we actually managed to get a new epic. Pretty decent, but it's not that powerful all around as a champion. Like, I like the idea of removing Veil or Perfect Veil. Pretty good against the Duchess or Rector Dread. Not against Candraphone because that cannot be removed. And attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore shield. Not enough to really justify it and to say this is an arena monster. You know what I mean? Seems like we're gonna have to purchase more shards. I'm just gonna go like pack by pack, guys, just because I don't want to waste too many gems, considering that I'm so close to the Mercy, you know. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna come back if needed again. Hopefully we're not gonna have to burn all the gems that we have, you know, to go literally to 220. That's pretty sad. That's why I stopped on the 2x. Because, you know what? I'm gonna go to 200 plus shards, get one legendary. Better wait for this sort of events, you know? Because I knew that they were coming. They're always coming. Either before the 2x, either after. And there we go. What do we have? Creep King Graal, and we got a Maranix. My god. Now, who are we building out of these two champions? You know what? I think I skipped the Maranix fusion. I think I skipped it. So, hey, it's new. I knew that I was going to pull her one day. That's why I skipped the fusion. She didn't really brought much utility at that point in time. Creep King Graal, I already have him built. We already know what he can do. Great for a spider dungeon. All the way up to stage 25. Like, he's actually very powerful. He can be used on the Ice Golem. We have decreased attack. Has a chance... 100% chance instead if the target is under HP burn or a freeze debuff. That's to land a decreased attack. Attacks all enemies, 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown, fully booked to land the HP burn debuff for 2 turns. And attacks all enemies on a 4-turn cooldown, places a freeze debuff on each target for 1 turn if they are under a HP burn debuff. Now this doesn't work against the hard mode anymore because the spiderlings are immune to freeze. The HP burn is not as efficient in this sort of format. Of course, if you're taking in double CCA, Theodores and stuff like that, it can still work, but just on its own is not as efficient, you know. So Creep King Graal is still a pretty good champion. Maranix. So on the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 50% chance to place up to 2 extra hits if the target is under a hex debuff. The chance to place each extra hit is calculated individually per hit. The A2 attacks all enemies, 100% chance of placing a hex debuff and a 60% defense down debuff for 2 turns. And this is gonna be on a 3-turn cooldown, fully booked. And right here, attacks all enemies, will ignore unkillable buffs and shield buffs if the targets are under a hex debuff. This fully booked will be on a 4-turn cooldown, places an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn if this attack kills an enemy without a hex debuff. Places an unkillable buff for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy under a hex debuff. And then of course you have the passive, resets the cooldown of the A3 if I'm not mistaken. Whenever this champion kills an enemy under a hex debuff, increases this champion's attack by 5% for each enemy under a hex debuff. You know what? We're gonna build this champion, guys. We're gonna build this champion and we're gonna see how viable she is for the spider dungeon at the moment. Like, yes, you could potentially use her as a nuker for arena if you don't have better options, but what's happening with all these champions and why I'm always saying if the multipliers are not good on the champions, they're pretty irrelevant as nukers, because then you could easily take a starter champion like Kael or Elhain, give them the same gear you're gonna give to this legendary, and they're gonna deal the same damage that this legendary does. That's why multipliers are so important on champions. It's not all about putting the strongest gear on them and be like, okay, every champion can do the same damage. Multipliers are the hidden things in the coding that really determines what sort of damage they're doing. There we go, fully ascended at level 60. I haven't fully booked the champion just yet because I don't have enough books. And honestly, I wouldn't suggest you guys to get those precious books and invest them in champions like Maranix. There are many other champions out there that kind of like bring more utility all around to your account, and it's kind of like a better investment, you know, like in putting the books in Maranix, I feel like it's gonna be a bad investment, and I wouldn't recommend anyone to do it unless you're a Kraken and you don't really care about how much money you're spending on the game. In terms of masteries, we're quickly gonna purchase them in just a second. Just for the purpose of the videos, we're gonna drop them with the gems. And yeah, we're not gonna waste like 20-30 minutes to get them farmed. We're gonna do them in a second. First, we're gonna do the build on her. So we've checked the skills, right? We need to bring in some damage. We're gonna check how she performs in arena as a DPS champion, how she performs in the spider stand on stage 10 hard mode. That's kind of like where she really stands out. Yes, you could argue that and be like, well, I'm gonna use her on a Hydra clan boss. She's gonna be great because of the hex and defense down. Yeah, you can use her if you don't have better options. Hex whatsoever is not a necessity for Hydra. Like, I'm doing Hydra since day one without a Hex champion. Let me just put it like that. So, yes, it can help having the Hex on it, but it's definitely not something that's mandatory. So we're going to go for accessories first. We want to bring as much attack as possible on it. I'm not going to look for anything that is equipped on other champions. We're going to give her whatever we have available unequipped on here. So at the moment, it seems like this is the best ring, a reaction, whatever. We're going to use that. Then in terms of a banner, because we're going to test her on the spider, we need to make sure we are going with some accuracy. So instead of attack, let's bring accuracy, defense down, the hex as well. So we need to have the accuracy. Maybe we're going to get something with a bit of speed and attack, preferably if we have anything at all unequipped. This one right here gives us some defense, not the best, but we're gonna make it work with what we have available without breaking any champions whatsoever. And then crit damage gloves. Let's see what we have available. Crit damage and substats. I want to have crit rate. Some speed would be nice as well. And I've got this today. I've got this kill stroke, so we can play around with that, you know. I'm definitely gonna be able to get in some different pieces from there. So substats, crit rate, we should be spot on. Let's go all the way to kill stroke. Let's find another piece before we're gonna get the rest on it. You see, we have these boots as well: speed, crit rate, accuracy, attack. I knew that I've got the right things on today, and we're gonna level up those in a second. And we're gonna look for an attack chest piece. Whoop, let's go back here. Attack chest piece. We're not gonna use this one that we have right there because it needs to be re-rolled with a chaos ore maybe, or we're gonna have to see what we're doing with it because it ascended attack, so a lot of things can go wrong in there. But hey, we have this attack chest piece from Savage. I do want to give her Savage to test the damage, of course, but I'm not gonna go crazy with her stats because she's not a Platinum Arena champion, so it's pointless to kind of like test the full damage on her, you know, for Arena. So we're gonna kind of like give her an average regular build and see how she performs in like that. So what do we have in here? Let's see. Have anything else that's decent available with a bit of speed, because we do need to have quite a bit of speed on the spider dungeon. That's potentially a decent weapon. Okay, we have this one free. Perfect rolls on it. We don't really need to worry too much about the rest. We just need to make sure we are covering the crit rate now from the shield and the helmet, you know. So that's what we want to cover. Crit rate. Okay, this looks pretty decent for the moment. We're gonna keep that up. I kind of like need I need 9 more crit rate on the shield, you know. So we don't need to keep the equipped ones on. Let's just kind of like make it a bit more clear on what we have available and what we don't. This is decent, but doesn't give me attack, and we want to get some attack on her as well because she deals damage. This is good as well as a 5-star, 100%. We're not really losing much in terms of stats. And what do we have in terms of shield? 7. Now 7 is not gonna be enough. We do need a 9, preferably this one right here. So that's what we're gonna use on her. Plus, of course, we're gonna get more speed out of the boots. We can glyph a bit of accuracy to make sure we're gonna be spot on. Her attack is not extremely high, and that's mainly because of accessories, because we have a speed boots instead of attack. But hey, it is what it is. So I'm gonna go support 3 on masteries. I do need to get more crit rate, and I want her to deal as much damage as possible. So she will ignore shield with one of the skills, if I'm not mistaken, with the A3. So we're gonna go like this, just to kind of like maximize it for all of her skills. I do want to get the Helm Smasher on her because that's gonna work on the spider as well, and we want to get that extra accuracy if we can, of course. Right here, you can either go with Cycle of Magic, either go with Lord of Steel to help a bit with the kill stroke. So we're gonna get a bit of extra crit damage from there, or you can go with Evil Eye if you're using it for other content as well. But just for the sake of it, we're gonna go with Lord of Steel, and I don't have full masteries at the moment, right? So I gotta make sure I have a higher chance to land the debuff. So I'm gonna go with Sniper as tier 5 on the support there. Total stats on Maranix: 32k HP, 4.7k attack, 2.3k defense, 236 speed. Now, of course, the speed is the thing that you can actually play around with. You don't need to have so much speed. You can lower it as much as you guys feel like it, depending where else you're using her. 102 crit rate, 252 crit damage, and we have 338 accuracy. Now, when we are talking about the spider dungeon, guys, we're gonna be on hard mode. We already know the boss itself is extremely fast, so things that might work on the lower stages, the old stages, they're not gonna work here. If we don't have defense down and weaken with the stats that we currently have on Maronix, she's not gonna have enough firepower with the A3 to kill the spiderlings. Yes, we don't have it fully booked, so we are missing 10% damage from the books, but it's only 10%, it's not 20, 25 or 30 like other champions, so it's not really gonna completely change the game for you. I feel like even with that, she still wouldn't one-shot the spiderlings only with defense down and the hex. Now, the passive increases this champion's attack by 5% for each enemy under a hex debuff. Considering that we're gonna land hex on pretty much 11 spiderlings and the spider queen, we're gonna have lots of extra attack from it. Then another thing to keep in mind is that yes, we can reset the cooldowns of this skill and use it over and over and over again. Some of you might think, well, it's fine if we just bring Maronix in with the A2, then we're gonna use the A3. Remember, the spider queen will take a turn, will devour the spiderlings, your hex from the A2 and defense down is gonna disappear. That's why you need to have a different champion that will land the hex debuff for you. Yes, you can build your entire team slower and let the spider queen take a turn, then use the A2, let the spider queen take a turn, and then use the A3 and kind of like repeat the cycle, but it's not gonna be very successful. Let me just put it like that for you. That being said, let's take them in for a spin, then we're gonna check out some other stuff with Maronix too. See if she's actually better now. 2023. I feel like the fusion was last year. If I'm not remembering that wrong, I skipped it 100%. So yeah, I knew that I was gonna pull her. You see, so that was the damage. Decent. Okay, so I haven't really speed tuned the team to be like, okay, everything is in order. The Spider Queen won't get to heal back with the Spiderlings. I've just chucked in some champions in there. It's kind of like to check Maronix, rather than checking the rest of the team, basically. You know, if you don't have Lydia, you need a defense down, weakened champion. If you don't have Mitrala, there are plenty of different options that bring AoE hacks. You know, so that's fine. There we go. Okay, so she used the A3 again. You see the damage is actually not that impressive. And look at the Spiderling surviving just with the defense down because they don't have the hex, they don't have the weaken. So I'm really kind of like disappointed with the damage from the A3, and I'm so glad I haven't actually invested books in the champion. You know, like, yes, you can use her. It's not like completely unusable as a champion, but it's just, what's that damage? You know, like, that damage is really, really underwhelming in my opinion. And I feel like it's gonna be even worse for Arena once we're gonna get there. You know, like, definitely use different champions for Arena as snookers if you have better options available. If you just started playing the game recently, then yeah, go on, start using her because you might not have many other options. But even the starter champions on their own could potentially be pretty solid. The good part about her is that she brings defense down too, so it's not completely a loss if you are investing in the champion, right? Like, having defense down is great, but then so does, for example, War Maiden, which you can farm from campaign. You know, so it's kind of like, okay, what should we do? So we have Maronix with 7.4 million damage, Mitrala with 3.7, and Lydia with 3.8. Now, these champions are not built for damage. Mitrala is not built for damage. Lydia is not built for damage, and that's kind of like how it works. If we're gonna take her out, for example, and recently use first, where is Tag Knight? Check this out. So we're not gonna have weaken this time around. We have defense down, plus we have hexed on all the enemies. Her attack is gonna go like crazy. It's gonna jump off the roof with the passive because of all the hacks that we're gonna land on everybody. Check it out, just so you don't say that I'm trying to advertise the champion in a bad way, you know, like, there we go. We have hacks on everybody. Nobody got resisted whatsoever. So we have 5, we have 5. So they're actually 10 spiderlings, not 11. I don't know why I thought that there were 11. Bad memories. But in together with the Spider Queen, they are 11 targets that have Hex, so that's a 55% increase on attack. And there we go. Like, I don't know. You guys make up your own mind, but I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it like this. Moving over to Arena, we actually changed the banner on Maronix. We gave her an attack banner, so now she should be smacking even harder than before. There we go. So we actually gained quite a bit of attack. She's at 5,359. That's the banner right here. We haven't glyphed it, but we have lots of attack on it. In terms of masteries, Ham Smasher as tier 6. We haven't changed the masteries. They're perfectly fine the way they are at the moment. And let's go against a team like this. We're gonna have to kind of like try and find some teams that are kind of like at our level. Hopefully, we're gonna be able to see her in action. Yes, Spirit Champions are gonna counter her pretty hard, and there we go. We actually have a Duchess to do it. Juicy, okay. Can land a Hex maybe. Let's see. So now we can actually reset this. Ignores unkillable and a shield. So we're gonna go straight for that Soulless, because that seems like the easiest target. And the damage, man, is honestly so underwhelming. We even had Hex on three enemies. I just find the damage extremely underwhelming for that skill. Like, look at that Soulless. He didn't even have defense up and he wrecked her. You know what I mean? And yes, it is a bit of a difference in terms of what champions they are, but still, the damage, in my opinion, is extremely underwhelming. Not being a massive fan so far of Maronix, Let's see if we're starting with A2. That might bring us actually some extra damage instead, We can even attack a couple of different teams. So there we go. We have a Wukong here. We don't have any Spirit Champions to mess us around. Maronix coming in for the win. Let's see. Okay, we got that. Defense down, weaken on everybody. Let's land a Hex on everybody. We got it on pretty much everyone except MK. And you know what? Let's try this again. Or maybe should we try this? Okay, attacks all enemies. Let's do it. Okay, this is better damage. So we managed to one-shot Mr. Nameless. But then, this team seems pretty weak in my opinion. I don't think it's that great. But you know what? We're going to go against the same team again. And we're going to use the A2. See if that works a bit better instead of the A3. If that has better multipliers, it's kind of like strange, I would think, no? I would find that strange. Okay, there we go. Hex on everybody. Beautiful. And A2. Oh my god. Yes, definitely not impressive. Pretty similar with the A3. If I remember it correctly, their multipliers are actually very similar on the A2 and A3. But guys, that's pretty much everything for Maronix. You've seen what she can do even in Arena. Multipliers are the key on champions. Her stats are pretty good. Honestly, I don't think the stats are bad. In the Spider, you can make it work, but you need a lot of other champions to enable her kit to its full potential. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.